sure this microphone works. Hi everyone, my name is Angela. Thank you all so much for coming.
Hi Angela.
Hi. I'm not sure who just said hi to me, but that was a nice welcome. So I'm here just speaking on behalf of the Human Kinetics Graduate Student Association and the Canadian Obesity Network Student and Youth Professionals. So thank you all so much for coming tonight. We've got a great speaker ahead of us, so I'm glad you can all make it. Before we start with our guest speaker, I'd like to just introduce you quickly to the Canadian Obesity Network. Who here has heard of the Canadian Obesity Network? Okay, quite a few of you. So the Canadian Obesity Network is actually the largest obesity association in Canada. So with over 8,000 members. I actually just checked today, and on the site it says over 8,235 members. So we're quite well established here in Canada and internationally. Now the purpose of the Canadian Obesity Network is basically to bring everyone together to reduce the emotional, physical, psychological, and emotional and economic burden of obesity in Canada in children and adults. So we do lots of different types of awareness programs, so to address the social stigma associated with obesity and with excess weight, changing the way policymakers and health professionals approach obesity, and of course to improve access to resources for education and management of obesity. So we are actually here as part of students. Many students are here and trainees and new professionals, and we actually formed a chapter here at the University of Ottawa. So we have several chapters all across Canada, pretty much in every university across Canada where there's an obesity type program for research. And what we do is we come together, lots of networking opportunities for students and new professionals doing research to advance the obesity education, knowledge, research, treatment, and management. So we're lucky to actually have Dr. Jean-Philippe Chaput, who is a member of the students and new professional group at the University of Ottawa. He's actually our faculty member for our chapter here. So before that, we've actually done several different types of initiatives. So maybe some of you have actually come to some of the initiatives we've done. We've actually organized some other guest speakers. We've invited some different speakers internationally well known in obesity research and treatment, and held international and local conferences here at the University of Ottawa. So this is yet another one of our initiatives, and thank you all for being here and for being part of one of our successful events. Now let's introduce JP. So we know JP's actually have a very impressive biography, so much so that I have to have notes for his biography and what he's done so far. So Dr. Jean-Philippe Chaput has a background in biology and graduated from Laval University and did his doctorate in kinesiology in Quebec City in 2008 under the supervision of Dr. Angelo Tremblay. Now many of you, this might ring a bell. Dr. Angelo Tremblay is one of the most well-known, most cited obesity researchers in the world. So, but let's just say that Dr. Chaput has definitely, he's gone a long way already to follow the footsteps of his supervisor, and I think may surpass him in the next couple of years. So he then moved on to do his postdoctoral degree, fellowship at the University of Copenhagen, and did his postdoctorate in human nutrition under the supervision of Professor Arne Astrup in Copenhagen. So he ensured the research group's state-of-the-art scientific competence in relation to sleep physiology and mental stress. He is now assistant professor at the University of Ottawa in the Department of Pediatrics and the School of Human Kinetics at the University of Ottawa, and holds a junior research chair in healthy active living and obesity research at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario here in Ottawa. And most impressive is most of his presentations. He's done several presentations at both national and international conferences, perhaps some more memorable than others. So, I love this picture. This is actually Dr. Chaput. Maybe he can tell you more about this conference, but this is an international conference, and for him to stand out about one of his research studies looking at milk supplementation in relation to appetite control and a weight loss intervention, he dressed up to make himself memorable and to attract attention to his poster at a scientific conference. So not only has he done several presentations and is well known in obesity research already, he's actually been very involved in our chapter with several of our CONSNPs. So CONSNPs is just the abbreviation for the Canadian Obesity Network Student and New Professionals. And this is the boot camp that he attended. He attended the first Canadian obesity boot camp. Now boot camp, as opposed to what the name may actually say, is a long 1-week intensive course filled with all the information about obesity, fully paid for, an incredible opportunity for student and new trainees to develop their thinking and information about obesity in all different facets and all different disciplines. So he's also a very active member of our own very own chapter, and we're very proud and very honored to have him here today. Not only is he interested in new determinants of obesity, but he has authored and co-authored more than 90 peer-reviewed publications. So he is very successful, and we're very proud to have him. So I'd like to introduce him and welcome him for his talk today.
Hi guys, I think the beer is just $2, so if you want to drink for the freshman 15 talk, you can go. Do you hear me well on the back?
No.
No? So I need to, like this? Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I don't speak very loud, just do this and I'll try to speak a bit louder. Hi everybody, so it's the first time I speak at a pub in fact, so I don't know how it will work out, but I hope it will not be too boring for you. So my name is Jean-Philippe Chaput. Tonight I'll have just 20 slides for you. It will not be very long, it will be pretty light. If you have any questions for me in French or English, you can ask your questions either during my presentation or after. Even though it's not related to this talk, that's fine too. So today I'll talk about the freshman 15 concept. So what is the freshman 15 first, and what are the causes behind this weight gain at the first year of college. So why I talk on the freshman 15 first? Because I wrote a short piece in September in the Journal of the University of Ottawa, the Gazette, about the freshman 15 concept, and I received a lot of feedback, comments on that, and we just met the CONSNP all together, and we thought that, okay, it might be a good talk for our next event, so we've decided to go ahead with the freshman 15 concept. So that was a starting point of this lecture here tonight. So what's the freshman 15? So in fact, it's only gaining 15 pounds at your first year of college or university. So this concept comes from the US, and now I think it applies to Canada and many other countries around the world. But is it true? Is it a myth or a reality? That's what we will try to answer tonight. So what are some of the explanation or causes of this weight gain during the first year of college? I will try to talk about just 5 of those causes tonight, probably for me the most obvious reasons for this weight gain. The first one, the obvious one, poor eating habits. Second one, decrease in physical activity, increased alcohol intake, lack of sleep. So I'm doing a lot of research on lack of sleep. So we know that short sleepers gain more weight over time compared to good sleepers. And stress can also lead to overeating and weight gain, and there are many other reasons, but today we'll talk about those 5 reasons here for you. First one, poor eating patterns. So there are many reasons that can explain why the students at their first year of college can gain weight. Money issues. So a lot of students are broke, don't have a lot of money, and most of the time they tend to buy cheap food items, and most of the time those food items are high in calories. So that can lead to weight gain. That can be one explanation. Fast and convenient food items, so energy dense, high in calories. So when I say fast food, it's not necessarily junk food. It's something that is fast to cook, so using the oven and so on. So most of the time it is again associated with many calories. Cooking skills, so it might be interesting to have a study, I didn't see that, but looking at students staying at their parents' place versus students who just moved to find a new apartment, to know if they eat better or less. Maybe if it's your mom cooking for you, it might be better, I don't know. So it will be interesting to compare those 2 groups at the first year of college. Snacking, we know, for example, that there's snacking when we engage in screen time, television watching, playing video games, using your laptop. So if you engage in a lot of screen time during your first year of college, you're more likely to overeat. So we need to be aware of that. Food patterns, so students most of the time have a lack of fruit and veggies. And irregular diets like skipping breakfast. We know that skipping breakfast is associated with weight gain over time. So you might think that it is good to skip breakfast because you don't eat calories, but no, over the long term, it is associated with weight gain and obesity. So better to have regular meals every day. Second explanation that can explain this weight gain, decreased physical activity. It can be with this increased fatigue associated with maybe you work at the same time, you need to attend your classes and so on. So lack of time can be a main issue for students. So they might decide to just cut on physical activity, on workouts, going to the gym for instance. Difficult to keep up with a workout regimen. So again, there are many reasons for that. And a lot of sitting time. So there's a growing body of research showing that sitting too much is bad for us, and it seems to be independent of our physical activity levels. Meaning that even though you go to the gym 1 hour every day, but you sit a lot for the rest of your day, you're more at risk of many health problems. So it's one thing to move more, but at the same time we need to reduce sitting time. One of my colleagues, Travis Saunders, worked on this area of research here. Third one, increased alcohol intake. So like what I'm doing tonight, what some of you are doing tonight too. I think the first year of college and also the second and third probably are associated with a lot of parties, which is normal, I think. Keep in mind that alcohol 7 calories per gram compared to protein and carbohydrate is 4. Fat is 9. So fat and alcohol are similar. So of course, one beer it's about 150 calories. So one standard beer like one Bud, 150, and we know that alcohol stimulates food intake. So we tend to eat more when we drink, and there's no compensation in food intake for the rest of the day. So it's a net caloric surplus. So if you drink beers or wine and so on, most people don't eat less for the rest of the 24 hours. So it's a net surplus for your day, so you can gain weight because of that. You need to be aware of that. There's an activation of reward centers in your brain when you drink. That means that at the end of your night, if you party in the Byward Market, for example, and you drink a lot, and at the end of your night, you're more likely to want to eat energy-dense foods, like, I don't know, pizza or poutine or shawarma, for example. You will not crave for salad or for a kind of tuna. This is normal to do that, but you need to be aware of that. So binge drinking is associated with poor eating habits. And in science, binge drinking is 5 drinks in one occasion. So I binge drink sometimes, I guess most of you binge drink too, but you need to be aware that by doing that, most of the time it is associated with poor eating habits. Lack of sleep. Lack of sleep can lead to weight gain over time. So I told you short sleepers gain more weight than average and long sleepers. For adults, the recommendation or the guidelines are saying between 7 to 9 hours per night for the better regulation of body weight and the prevention of disease. Of course, the sleep needs are different between people. Some people might need less, others need more, but between 7 to 9. So short sleepers in adults, I mean less than 6 hours per night. Short sleep leads to weight gain over time for 2 reasons. Short sleepers eat more and most of the time they move less. Why they eat more? First, we know that lack of sleep is a stress factor for our body. So we see a lot of changes in key appetite hormones. So there is an activation of appetite hormones like ghrelin, decrease in leptin, increase in the stress hormone cortisol. So we feel more hungry when we sleep less. And at the same time, we just have more time and more opportunities for eating. So for example, if you sleep 4 hours per night, you will be exposed to the current obesogenic or toxic environment for 20 hours. So you will be more likely to snack and eat when you sleep less. So yes, short sleepers eat more because they feel more hungry and just have more time to eat. On the other side of the energy balance equation, not energy intake but energy expenditure, short sleep might decrease physical activity because of this fatigue associated with lack of sleep. so maybe you're less likely to engage in physical activity when you're tired. And studies are showing that people tend to cut on high intensity or vigorous physical activity in response to lack of sleep. So altogether, it seems that short sleepers eat more, move less, and that can lead to weight gain over time. The last reason that we'll talk tonight is stress. So with this transition from high school, so there is a period of stress for many students, of course. With this increased workload and lack of time, maybe you work at the same time, you attend your classes, you need to study, you want to see your friends, family, party, and so on. So lack of time can be stressful for you. We know that the stress hormone cortisol tend to increase food intake. This is normal. The response to stress is different between people. Most of the time, when the stress is severe, people eat less and lose weight. But when we talk about mild chronic stress, people tend to eat more and gain weight. So I would argue that for college students, the first year is more mild chronic stress than severe or intense stress. Emotional eating, so some people tend to eat their emotions, so cravings for food high in calories. So some people tend to do that when they feel sad, when they feel bored, when they feel stressed, and so on. If you're this type of person, you need to be aware that the first year of college you might be more likely to overeat in response to stress. There was a famous quote by George Bernard many decades ago who was saying that there is no love more sincere than the love for food. So food is always there for us. So I think it's true. Some people tend to eat when they feel sad and so on. So we need to be aware of that. Again, the reasons for this weight gain are very different between people. So some will gain weight because of one or two or three factors, others maybe just one or those 5 factors. So the response to the first year of college will be very different. Some might gain a lot of weight, some might lose weight the first year of college. It really depends on your lifestyle mainly. So what the studies are showing now. So freshman 15, so is it fact or fiction? This study here was published in 2008, the freshman weight gain phenomenon, and the conclusion of that paper was that overall weight changes range from 1.5 to 6.8 pounds, but among individuals who gained weight, the range was more narrow, between 6.8 and 7.5 pounds. So you can see much less than 15 pounds, but there are 2 groups here, one group gaining much less weight and one group gaining much more weight, even though it is under 15 pounds. It will be interesting in future studies to just understand why is that, why there are those 2 groups. Is it because the group gaining more weight might be because they have bad genes, what I can call, so some people are more likely to gain weight under unhealthy behaviors. So we don't know, but it's just nice to see that there are 2 groups here in the response to weight gain at the first year of college. This study was published in 2009, the freshman 5, a meta-analysis of weight gain in the freshman year of college. So this is probably the gold standard we have at the moment on the freshman 15. So when I say a meta-analysis, this is in fact a pool of all the studies in this field up to 2009, because this study was published in 2009. So that includes 24 studies here, looking at the freshman 15 concept, involving more than 3,400 students. So we have all of those studies here, and they come up with an average weight gain. So the mean weight gain of the 21st studies altogether was 3.86 pounds. So again, much less than 15 pounds. You can see that there is a very clear pattern. All studies show weight gain. Only one study, this one here, showed average weight loss, but 23 out of 24 show a weight gain. And you can see some differences between studies. This is normal. We never find the same thing in all studies, but there's a clear pattern. The differences can be explained here by different things. So the mean age can be different. It can be just one gender, just men or just women. It can be done in different countries, in different socioeconomic status, and so on. So that's why we don't always get the same findings, because the contexts are always different between studies. That makes it sometimes difficult to compare between studies, but that's probably the gold standard that we have at the moment, the best evidence. Okay, this study published in 2008, the freshman 15, the freshman 5, actually, predictors and possible explanations. The conclusion here was that both men and women gain a significant amount of weight, 3.5 and 4 pounds respectively. So it fits well with the previous study. So about 3 to 4 pounds. So again, much less than 15 pounds. This one here, published 2006, the change in body weight among freshman women. You have here on the y-axis the frequency in percent, and on the x-axis the change in body weight in kilogram at the first year of college. And you can see that the average weight gain was 2.4 pounds, again much less. About 30% of this cohort gained between 0 and 1 kilo. And you have some women who gain about 10 kilos, and some women who lost 10 kilos. So again, it's possible to lose weight, it's possible to gain 15 pounds, it's possible, but overall, as a mean, it seems to be 2.4 pounds for this one. Again, much less than 15. We need to take into account the composition of this weight gain too, because in most studies, they look at body weight gain. So we don't know if they gain body fat or muscle mass. So just include a picture of me here on the left. So if you gain just body fat, of course it's not very good. But if you go to the gym the first year of college and you just gain muscle mass, that's fine. So again, the composition of fat is not good. And if you gain weight in your belly, this is the bad fat, I think. So visceral fat, that's where you don't want fat. And it's, in fact, for women to have fat here, legs, butt, so on, it's predictive for you. So it's good. Even though you don't like it, it's good. There are some inter-individual variation in response to this first year of college for this weight gain. So again, it's not one size fits all, so it's very different between people. We know that those with a higher body mass index gain more weight. So if you start with a higher body weight, you're more likely to gain weight at the first year of college. So body mass index is, if you don't know, body weight in kilogram divided by your height in square meters. This is what we use to characterize people. So if your body mass index is between 18.5 and 25, you're in the normal weight range. If your body mass index is between 25 and 30, you're characterized as overweight, and greater than 30, you're obese. So if you start with a higher body weight, you're more likely to gain weight at your first year of college. Failure to adjust to this period of transition associated with stress and so on. So some people are more likely than others to cope with this first year of college. So that can explain why some gain a lot of weight, others don't gain weight. Restrained eaters are more likely to encounter difficulties maintaining their weight over time. There are two types of restraint of eating. So flexible restraint of eating and rigid restraint of eating. So rigid restraint of eating is if you say, okay, I don't eat dessert and I will cut dessert for the rest of my life or for years. This is rigid, so you're strict with your diet, as opposed to flexible. If you say, for example, okay, I'll cut some dessert, I'll eat once or twice a week. So you're more flexible in your approach with food. And it seems that it's better to be less strict, better to be more flexible. Over time, if you're too rigid with your diet, you're more likely to gain weight and to be obese because you will binge eat at some point. So better than to be too strict. Emotional eaters are more likely to gain weight. So if you know again that you're more likely to binge eat or to just overeat in response to stress, when you're anxious, sad, and so on, you're more likely to gain weight at the first year of college because it will be associated with many changes in your life. Living on campus versus off campus. Some studies did some analysis here. It seems that students living on campus gain more weight for different reasons. It seems because you're closer to the bars, to the convenience stores and so on. So it seems that living on campus can lead to more weight gain versus off campus. And your dieting history. So if you did a lot of diets in your past years, you're more likely to gain weight at your first year of college. So we know that when you diet, you lose weight, you regain, and most of the time with this yo-yo, you gain more after many years. So better not to start a diet because we know that 95% of people who start a diet they will regain at some point. So can be very easy to lose weight, but the big fight is to maintain this reduced obese state, and 95% of people regain at some point. So better not to diet and to prevent weight gain. What are some of the solutions to this freshman 15 or freshman 5? I have 4 for you. First, be aware of this. So even though it's not freshman 15, this first year of college is associated with some weight gain. So it's really up to you to cope with this weight gain. Be careful if you're more predisposed or more likely to gain weight. It can be because you have bad genes. It can be because some people just watch salad and they will gain weight. Others, they can eat a lot and they will never gain weight. So, of course, if you know that you're more likely to gain weight, be careful with this first year of college. Try to maintain a healthy lifestyle, so as much as possible. The goal is not to be perfect. I'm not perfect, and I think it's always a matter of balance. If you have more healthy behaviors, overall, you will not gain weight. But I think if you have more unhealthy behaviors, you're more likely to gain weight. So it's a balance of many factors, not just one, not just two, but many factors. And we need to address the key drivers, or you can call it the root causes of this weight gain. Again, the reasons behind that are different between people, so you need to address your reason. So we talk a lot about overeating and lack of physical activity as the two big factors that can explain weight gain. There are many other factors that can explain that. So if you eat more because you're stressed, so you need to manage your stress. If you eat more because you don't sleep enough, and because you don't sleep enough, you move less too, try to address your sleep hygiene. And the way to do that, to address your sleep hygiene, to manage your stress, it's not just to sleep more, but it can be by being more physically active. We know that by being active, you have an improvement in your sleep quality, better management of your stress. So physical activity for me is a very good strategy to cope with stress and to cope with poor sleep quality. So again, it's a package, all is linked together, and it's the sum of all of your behaviors. And keep in mind also that health is not just about numbers on a scale. So you have here Keith Richards from the Rolling Stone and Shaquille O'Neal, former basketball player. So if you look at body mass index, so Keith Richards is in the normal weight range, and Shaquille is probably characterized as obese. But I will guess that Shaquille is much more healthy than Keith Richards. So again, it's really more about your lifestyle and less about numbers on your scale. So it's possible to be obese and very healthy. It's possible to be lean and very unhealthy. So it's really about your behaviors. I prefer to see an obese person training, we try to eat well and so on, than a lean one who is smoking and not training at all. So again, it's really about your lifestyle. Some people will never be able to be in the normal weight range because of their genes, so that's fine, as long as they engage in a healthy, active lifestyle. That's the most important thing. So I think we should try to focus less on body weight in the future and more on the promotion of a healthy, active lifestyle. And some people call that the fat and fit concept, or the metabolically healthy but obese concept. There was a nice paper published last year by Linda Bacon. She was just talking about that a weight focus as an indicator of success is ineffective. It increases food and body preoccupation. It increases the yo-yo. So you lose weight, regain, lose, regain, and most of the time down the road you regain more. It reduces self-esteem. It increases eating disorders, and it increases weight stigmatization and discrimination. So again, better to shift that way to focus from body weight and promote a healthy lifestyle. There was this study published this year, I think just a couple of weeks ago. Freshman women and the freshman 15, perspectives on prevalence and causes of college weight gain. The conclusion here was that freshman women reported intense fears about gaining weight. Women most commonly attributed freshman weight gain to newly found food independence, social comparison with peers, and the influence of friends and family. So you can see this pressure that comes from your family, from your friends. It's not just your fault if you gain weight during the freshman year. So if your friends always want to go out and to party, you can't say no, but you can't always say no if you want to see them. So you will need to go out and party too. But you don't need to drink 12 beers every time you go out. So again, it's more about a matter of balance and the more you have a healthy behavior overall, the more you can limit your weight gain. And of course, don't wait to gain 15 pounds before starting to adjust something in your lifestyle. Conclusion, last slide. I think it wasn't too long. This is fine. Good. Plenty of time for questions. So 4 points, 4 take-home messages for you. The average weight gain is much smaller, so the freshmen 15. So overall, we don't gain 15 pounds. It's possible, but it's between 2 and 6 pounds. The causes of this weight gain is multifactorial, so the reasons behind that are very different between people. You need to address the key drivers or the root causes of your weight gain. Some people are more likely than others to weight gain, so you need to be aware of that. So if you're more likely to gain weight, be more cautious. And maintaining a healthy lifestyle is more important than focusing on your body weight. So again, it's more about your lifestyle than about numbers on a scale. And that's it. So the conclusion, yes, that was a myth. So this is not true. Questions for me?
Please join me, everyone, in thanking Dr. Chaput for coming to speak to us today. Appreciate you, Dr. Chaput. Again, thanks, JP.
Hi again. Thank you for staying. We welcome you all to stay a little bit longer. You can ask JP more questions if you have any. And we also have a couple questions just to ask you about your involvement in the Canadian Obesity Network. And I think you have some things to show. If you'd like to go ahead and talk.
So I think in G I added 2 slides in my presentation. So the con, how do I get involved? So you can go on the website, Réseau Canadien en Obésité, Canadian Obesity Network. It's free for everybody. You can join. There are some PowerPoint slides you can download. It's free. It's free to join. You will have a lot of info, a lot of things. So there are more than 8,000 members, I think. Cons was really growing. And that's the best Canadian organization talking about the prevention, the management and treatment of obesity in kids, adults, elders. So I think, and the director, Dr. Arya Sharma, he has a blog every day. You can read that. It's very nice too. So you can go on the website. It's free. You don't need to be in the field of physical activity or obesity and so on. You can just go there and look at all the resources that you want. There's an email here for questions, I guess. So if you have other questions, I guess there's this email, but you can come back later if you don't have a pen or a sheet. And also, one problem with the con is that that was funded by the government a couple of years ago, and there's no funding for the past 2 years. So it's an organization, but they also want to continue doing that. And we have like events like this. It's free tonight, but there are other things in many countries across Canada, and they are really looking for money. I just want to say there's a website. If you want to donate, you can keep that for your taxes refund and so on. But just go to the website, and if you don't want to give, you don't give. But at least I think it's a good cause, and just to share this with you that it's possible to donate to come if you think that you want to improve the health of our kids, of our future generation. I think for me, CON did a lot of great things, and I hope I will be able to change something in the future. So I think that's it for tonight. So thank you again for your attention, and if you have other questions, I will be here. If you want to have beer and so on. I think there is food too, eh? Free food over there too. That's it. Thank you.